Have you ever wondered if each morning you wake up to truly live or just to repeat the same stale patterns of yesterday? That single question can pierce through the comfortable haze you've been moving in, because for many, the days blend into one another like an endless loop where you are pushed by circumstances instead of steering your own course. You might feel the weight of routine pressing down, the sense that you're trapped in a cycle where you respond to the world rather than shape it. Maybe you rise, dress, work, and return home, yet there's a hollow echo inside that no paycheck, number weekend, no quick distraction seems to fill. Science shows that nearly half of our waking hours are spent disconnected from the present moment, drifting through mental autopilot, detached from any deep sense of purpose. And when you're not anchored in the now, you lose sight of the direction your life could take. Think of Sarah in New York, 32 years old, steady job, bills paid, friends to see. Yet every sunrise carried the same dull grayness. One morning, standing in front of her bathroom mirror, she felt a surge of truth rush in, and it stung. She had no clear reason for moving through her days other than the fact that yesterday she had done the same. That sting is not weakness. It is the first signal of awakening. When you begin to sense that your life could be more, when you dare to ask questions that disturb the still water, you are taking the first step toward reshaping your reality. The invitation here is simple yet powerful. Live. Sarah's moment feels like yours. Declare it. Say it in your own way. Commit to yourself that you will not drift another day. Engage with this message. Mark the moment you decide to open your eyes fully, because the next steps will reveal the doorway out of the trap. The only question left is, if you are stuck, how will you break free? You break free when you realize that you are the architect of your own reality. This awareness is not just a poetic idea, it is a transformative truth that reshapes the way you see the world and yourself within it. Most people are taught to believe that circumstances, luck, or the actions of others determine their path. Yet the deeper understanding is that the physical world is only a small fragment of existence, while the greater part is formed from energy and consciousness. Your mind is not a passive recorder of events. It is the creator of the lens through which you experience them, the sensations you feel, the meaning you attach to situations. And the actions you choose are all influenced by the state of your awareness, not solely by what happens around you. Even science has pointed toward this profound truth, with Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, stating that consciousness is fundamental and matter is derivative. This insight places immense creative power in your hands, because when you accept that your internal state shapes your external life, you are no longer a victim of chance, but a participant in the design of your future. Consider the journey of Mark, a former soldier from Texas, who once believed his post-traumatic stress would shadow him forever. He lived in constant anticipation of anxiety, letting fear dictate the edges of his existence. When he discovered meditation and began retraining his thoughts, he shifted the balance. Instead of being controlled by waves of panic, he learned to center himself, to breathe with intention, and to use his awareness as a shield and a compass. Gradually, his world changed, not because the past disappeared, but because his perception and his response evolved. What this reveals is simple yet extraordinary. Your consciousness is the most powerful tool you possess. It can hold you in patterns that repeat pain, or it can open doors to experiences you once thought impossible. The moment you step into this realization, you begin to notice that your thoughts, emotions, can act as signals, broadcasting the reality you will walk into. If you choose clarity, purpose, and presence, you set in motion a life aligned with those qualities. This is your invitation to test the strength of your own awareness. If you believe your mind holds greater influence than the conditions around you, make it known. Claim it as the truth you will live by. Because once you step through this first door, The next question naturally appears: if consciousness is the key, what provides the energy to unlock it? The energy comes from your heart, a place that radiates an electromagnetic field even stronger than your brain. Within your chest beats more than just a pump moving blood. It carries its own network of neurons, often called the heart's brain, capable of influencing emotions, perception, and decision-making. When you cultivate positive states such as gratitude, compassion, and joy, your heart's rhythm becomes smooth and harmonious, a state known as heart coherence. In this balanced rhythm, your body's systems align, creating a field of influence that not only affects your physical health, but also interacts with the space and people around you. The HeartMath Institute has shown that synchronized heart rhythms can boost immune function, sharpen mental clarity, and increase resilience in the face of challenges. This is not mystical fantasy. It is the measurable impact of your inner state, shaping your outer experience. Picture Linda, a nurse in California, who once began her shifts feeling drained before the day had even started. Determined to change, she adopted a 2-minute ritual each morning, closing her eyes, breathing steadily, and focusing on one thing she truly appreciated. This simple practice shifted her physiology, lowering stress, softening her tone of voice, and creating a sense of calm that patients could feel without a word spoken. Her colleagues noticed she seemed lighter, more present, more grounded, and the environment around her shifted in response. Your heart's energy works in a similar way, influencing the opportunities you attract, the quality of your relationships, and the clarity of your thoughts. While the mind holds the blueprint, the heart provides the force that brings it into being. If your thoughts are the design, your feelings are the current that powers it. By choosing to dwell on emotions that elevate, you change your frequency. And in turn, you change the experiences that flow toward you. The invitation here is to engage with your own power source. Take a short pause, close your eyes for 10 seconds, and bring to mind the one thing you are most thankful for today. Let that emotion fill your chest. Let it steady your breath, and notice how even this brief shift alters your state. Then declare it by sharing a single word: gratitude. This is more than a symbolic act. It is the conscious activation of your creative field. Now the question becomes clear: how can your heart and your mind join together to form a force that nothing can stop? By synchronizing your brain and heart, you create a powerful signal that shapes reality. This union is more than a poetic concept. It is a precise state where mental intention merges with emotional energy, producing a frequency that influences the field around you. The mind holds the clarity of vision, the details of what you wish to manifest, while the heart provides the emotional charge that fuels it. When these two forces align, you are no longer sending mixed messages into the world. You become a transmitter of one coherent, focused vibration that draws matching experiences toward you. Albert Einstein once stated that the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. And in this context, your personal field is influenced by the alignment between thought and feeling. One practical way to access this state is through a simple technique. Close your eyes, breathe deeply. Bring your attention to the area around your heart and imagine the outcome you desire as if it is already happening. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief, or the excitement as if it were real now. Let your mind and heart speak the same language, reinforcing each other in rhythm and focus. John, an entrepreneur in Chicago, used this method every morning for just 5 minutes before making calls to potential clients. Instead of rushing into work with scattered thoughts and anxious energy, he aligned his vision with a genuine sense of success and service. Over time, his connection with people deepened. His confidence rose, and his closing rate increased by 40%. This was not coincidence, but the result of broadcasting a clear and consistent signal. Your own life can respond in the same way when you cultivate this harmony. Each breath, each mental picture, Each feeling of certainty adds strength to the pattern you are imprinting on the quantum field. The choice is always yours to live in random reaction or to consciously tune your frequency. You have the ability to practice this right now and see for yourself how the world begins to shift in subtle but undeniable ways. If you are ready to experiment, claim your intention and act on it today. Declare your willingness to try, because once you experience the impact of this mind-heart union, the only question left will be what invisible forces within you are still holding back your full power. It is your old self and your old habits that hold you back. The patterns you have repeated for years create a familiar identity, and that identity becomes a cage built from the past. The ego thrives on what it already knows, resisting change. Because change feels uncertain, and uncertainty feels unsafe. Yet staying within those walls keeps you living the same experiences, feeling the same emotions, and thinking the same thoughts. To create a new reality, you must be willing to break the habit of being yourself as you have always been. This is not about erasing your history. It is about releasing the automatic responses that no longer serve you. Neuroscience shows that when you shift your thinking, you literally rewire your nervous system, forming new pathways that lead to new actions and outcomes. Dr. Joe Dispenza has demonstrated that by choosing different thoughts and emotions, you alter the chemical signals in your body, allowing a different version of you to emerge. Think of Emily, an artist in Seattle who spent years painting in a safe, predictable style that kept her within the comfort zone of her audience. She felt the quiet pull to explore new techniques, but the fear of losing approval held her still. One day, she decided to disrupt her own pattern, experimenting with bold colors and textures that challenged everything she had done before. That leap caught the attention of a major gallery, opening doors she never imagined. Her breakthrough was not simply in the art she created, but in breaking the agreement she had made with her old self. You to carry habits, beliefs, and routines that feel like security but operate as invisible anchors. Each time you notice yourself acting from the same predictable state, you have the chance to choose differently, to step toward the unfamiliar. This is where growth lives, beyond the edges of the comfortable. The challenge is to recognize which patterns are truly supporting you and which are keeping you in place. The invitation is clear: decide to let go of at least one limiting habit today and declare it. Mark the moment you step away from what has been holding you still. Because once you release the grip of the old identity, the next question is no longer about whether change is possible, but how you can turn the fear of it into the fuel that will move you forward. See fear as a signal that you are standing at the threshold of a breakthrough. Instead of treating it as a warning to turn back, recognize it as evidence that you are moving toward the very edge where growth begins. Fear often appears when you step outside the patterns your mind has rehearsed, because the unknown triggers your survival instincts. Yet, when you reframe it, fear becomes information, showing you exactly where transformation waits. The human brain, as Stanford research reveals, processes fear and excitement through similar neural pathways, meaning that by shifting your perspective, you can convert the energy of anxiety into anticipation. Procrastination often hides behind fear, but at its root, delay happens when intention is vague and emotion lacks strength. When your vision is sharp and your feelings are aligned with it, hesitation dissolves into action. Think of Kevin, an athlete from Florida who once dreaded competing at the national level. The stakes felt overwhelming, and the thought of failing on a large stage held him in a loop of self-doubt. When he began to see the competition not as a threat, but as a chance to prove his skill, his energy changed. He trained with renewed focus, visualized himself performing at his best, and stepped onto the field carrying excitement instead of dread. That shift led him to win a silver medal. But more importantly, it proved to him that fear had been the doorway, not the barrier. You can choose the same path by meeting fear with curiosity. Ask yourself what it is pointing toward, what opportunity lies behind it, and what life might look like if you walked through instead of turning away. Treat each nervous pulse as a sign that you are about to expand into new territory. Breathe into it, imagine the outcome you desire, and let that emotional vision be stronger than the discomfort. Share one fear you are ready to transform today, because claiming it is the first step in taking its power and making it your own. Once fear becomes fuel, the horizon opens, and the real question becomes clear. If you pass through that door, what will you find waiting on the other side? You will meet your deepest self, the place where strength and freedom reside. This encounter is not with an image shaped by expectation, but with the authentic core that has always been present beneath layers of habit, fear, and external influence. Living in alignment with your true values is the foundation of lasting fulfillment. Because authenticity allows your actions to flow from a source that does not depend on approval or comparison. It begins with asking questions that cut to the heart of who you are. What do you truly want to give to the world? What legacy do you wish to leave behind when your time and energy have been fully expressed? When you answer honestly, you step onto a path that is uniquely yours, one that brings a sense of meaning no outside measure can provide. Research from Yale has shown that individuals who live according to their core principles experience a more stable form of happiness, the kind that endures beyond temporary highs or fleeting victories. This is because living true to yourself eliminates the internal conflict that arises when actions contradict beliefs. Consider Anna, a designer in Los Angeles, who once managed a multi-million-dollar project that promised recognition and financial security. Yet deep down, she knew the work did not reflect her commitment to sustainability and ethical practice. Choosing integrity over comfort, she walked away and founded her own brand dedicated to environmental responsibility. The decision was not without challenge, but it brought her a profound sense of alignment that no paycheck alone could match. You may not face the same crossroads, but you have moments every day to choose between convenience and authenticity. Each choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. To live as your highest self, you must be willing to honor your truth even when it disrupts the familiar. This is not about chasing perfection. It is about making decisions that reflect the values you declare. Write down the single word that best captures your most important value and let it guide you. Every time you act from that place, you strengthen the connection to your most powerful identity. And once you have met this truest version of yourself, the next challenge emerges. Naturally, how do you turn this awareness into immediate, tangible action that shapes the life you are ready to create? By using a simple yet powerful technique right now, you can begin shaping your reality from the inside out. You do not need elaborate tools or endless preparation, only a few focused minutes each day to create measurable change. One of the most effective methods is the 3-minute heart coherence practice. To begin, find a quiet space, close your eyes, and take slow, steady breaths. Bring your attention to the area around your heart as if you are breathing through it, and then focus on a feeling of appreciation or joy. Hold that emotion as you continue to breathe evenly, allowing your body and mind to synchronize. This state not only calms the nervous system, but also sends a consistent signal to the field around you, aligning your inner state with the experiences you want to attract. Once you finish, write down one clear goal and, instead of just thinking about it, immerse yourself in the emotions you would feel if it were already real. Your brain and body begin to treat this vision as a lived experience, creating the pathways that make action more natural. The HeartMath Institute has shown that just 2 weeks of this brief daily practice can significantly improve stress levels, resilience, and mental clarity. Tom, an engineer in Denver, discovered this when he was overwhelmed by deadlines and constant pressure. He committed to 3 minutes every morning before starting work, using the heart coherence technique and visualizing his desired outcomes. Within months, his stress dropped. His interactions with colleagues became smoother, and he was promoted for his ability to lead with calm focus under pressure. The lesson is clear, consistent, small actions can lead to significant transformation when they are done with intention and emotional alignment. This is not about waiting for the perfect time. It is about creating the conditions within yourself that allow opportunities to find you. You have the ability to try this today and witness the shift it brings. Commit to the practice. Notice how your body responds, and observe how your external world begins to mirror your internal changes. Once you have taken this step, share your action by marking it with a single word "done." Because when you actively send a clear and coherent signal into the universe, the next question naturally arises: how will the universe respond when you begin to practice this every single day? The universe responds with coincidences so precise they feel anything but random. These moments are not accidents. They are the natural result of your inner frequency matching the opportunities that exist around you. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are aligned, you emit a signal that draws in experiences, people, and events on the same wavelength. This is not magic. It is the way energy interacts with energy, and it can be explained through the reticular activating system in your brain. The RAS acts like a filter, scanning the endless stream of information you encounter and highlighting what matches your focus. When you set a clear intention and charge it with emotion, your RAS begins to notice the paths, openings, and connections that were always there but previously invisible. Imagine Jessica, a teacher in Boston who had been quietly considering the idea of teaching abroad. She allowed herself to picture the adventure, the culture, and the fulfillment it would bring. Just 1 week later, an email arrived from a school in Italy offering her a position that matched her vision perfectly. To an outsider, it looked like a lucky coincidence, but to Jessica, it felt like a direct response to the clarity she had been holding. You have likely experienced moments like this yourself. Chance meeting that led to a major opportunity, a perfectly timed message, or a sudden solution appearing right when you needed it most. These are signs that your inner state is in sync with the outer world. The more coherent and intentional your energy, the more frequently these alignments occur. By recognizing them, you strengthen your trust in the process and your ability to create them. The key is to stay aware, keep your intentions alive, and maintain the emotional state that supports them. Pay attention to the patterns, because each one is a conversation between you and the universe, a confirmation that your signal is being received. Share a recent coincidence that surprised you, because acknowledging it reinforces the connection. Once you begin to see these events not as random luck, but as deliberate reflections of your focus, the path forward becomes clear. And when you know that you have the power to shape these responses, the next question naturally arises. Now that you hold the ability to create, what will be your next step? The next step is to live as a creator every single day. This means carrying the insights, shifts, and commitments from the 9 previous steps and making them part of how you think, feel, and act. You began by waking up to the truth of your current reality, then stepped through the first door by understanding the power of consciousness. You learned to draw energy from the heart, to unite mind and heart into one clear signal, to identify the invisible barriers of the old self, to turn fear into momentum, to meet your highest identity, to apply practical tools that create change, and to recognize the precise alignments that prove you are influencing your world. Now the call is to move from knowing to doing, from ideas to embodiment. Research from University College London shows that it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit, meaning that daily repetition is what transforms temporary inspiration into lasting identity. Michael, a business owner in San Diego, proved this through consistent action. He adopted the mindset of a creator and committed to aligning his thoughts, emotions, and choices with the outcomes he wanted. Within 1 year, his revenue doubled, not because of chance, but because he lived each day from the perspective that he was shaping his reality. Your journey can unfold in the same way if you decide to honor the new identity you have built. This is not about perfection. It is about persistence. Every choice you make is either reinforcing your old self or strengthening the creator within you. The moment you choose to live intentionally, to guide your focus, and to act from your highest values, you confirm your role as the author of your own story. Mark this moment by declaring your commitment. Write the words creator in your own way, and let them serve as a promise to yourself that you will continue this work. Share this message with someone who is ready to take their own journey, because the ripple effect begins with you. And before we close, thank you for choosing to be here, for engaging with these ideas among countless other distractions you could have followed. Your presence is not an accident. It is the beginning of a chapter in which you step fully into your role, shaping the life you want with clarity, intention, and the courage to live it every day.